Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace. Happy Lord's Day. Happy Lord's Day. This is a wonderful day. It's been a great Sunday, and I thank you all for stopping by because you saw the thumbnail and you saw the title. So you know what we're about to do. We're going to be talking about the Fulton County DA debate. I'm using the word debate really, really loosely. Man, it's pretty interesting. So we got a lot to talk about today. Thank you so much for stopping by. So as I mentioned before, here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Press Club does what's called the Loudermilk Young Debate Series. Really interesting project that they do, put on by the Atlanta Press Club. They do it on this week. They did it this weekend. They just everybody running for Supreme Court Justice, DA, whatever these positions are, they have an opportunity to debate. And it was really interesting. I have to admit, this is my first time ever actually watching one, but I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, I like this. It was pretty savage, though. I do want to say something because I mentioned before, like, oh, Fani's not going to come because y'all know Fani was in Miami. We're not going to talk about that. So Fani was in Miami, right? And so in the initial article, they said that there will be an empty podium representing Fani Willis. Y'all, they did put that empty podium up there, and it was really wild because they actually let Christian Y. Smith address Fani Willis. So he turns and he talks to an empty podium. It was crazy. Last night, we watched the debate between Christian Y. Smith, Fani Willis, and then incumbent Paul Howard, the sitting DA, back in 2020. And we watched that one yesterday. Pretty interesting. I thought it was, we understood a lot, especially when you see what Fani Willis' position was then and now when you see where she is now. For example, she talks about like conviction rates don't matter, but all she does now is talk about conviction rates. So it is pretty wild. So here, I do think it's interesting because we saw Christian Y. Smith yesterday, and a lot of us had some concerns about him. We had some concerns about him. I think he ironed out a lot of the concerns that you had on yesterday or have had about him before. I think he ironed out a lot of them. I was kind of impressed with him. So I do want to share that with you all. We're going to look at it. It's not super long. So we will go through that and have an opportunity to really parse through it and hear your comments and so on and so forth like that. So with not a lot of further ado, I do want to make sure I give you all an opportunity to move that mouse over to that thumb and click on it and all that kind of stuff. But then again, if you don't like the content, maybe you don't like what Dear Woke Christians talk about, hit the like button 3 times. It kind of sort of does the same thing, but I appreciate it nonetheless. So this is going to be a watch party, but I'm gonna talk a little bit more. That's for sure. Let's get at it. Let's get going. All right. With no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll.
Hello, I'm Donna Lowry, host of Lawmakers on Georgia Public Broadcasting. Welcome to the Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young Debate Series from the studios of Georgia Public Broadcasting. This is the debate for Fulton County District Attorney. Let's meet the candidates. Christian Y. Smith is an author and attorney. Fani Willis has served as Fulton County District Attorney.
Yes, they did put her up there with an empty podium. An empty podium, y'all. That thing right there still got me in tears. I said they really did do that. They really put an empty podium. And he's going to talk to the podium in a moment. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you right now, I know why she dipped out on this. Oh, I'm going to give it, before we get too far, because I see a lot of people jumping in. Good to see y'all. I'm going to shout y'all out in a moment. But I think the reason why she did not participate in this debate is I was thinking it was both candidates, the Republican and the Democrat. It's only the Democrat. So therefore, I think she believes that she has this a shoe-in. So therefore, she doesn't need to debate this man and take battle wounds, if you will, from lack of a better term, friendly fire. And we see this all the time in political debates all the time. People go at it, and the next thing you know, they'll be president and vice presidential running mates. So this is what I think why she didn't want to debate him, is because she didn't want to take the hits that she knows was going to come because he's going to ask those tough questions. And he's black. So it's going to be very hard to use the racism card or the black card or the race card in this regard because he is a black man. So it's going to be really hard. But the optic when she's running against the white woman is going to be right there. She's going to use that right off the bat. And I guarantee 3 seconds into the debate or 3 seconds into anything, it'll be white, black dynamic will be played into it. So I think one of the reasons is she didn't want to take friendly fire and get wounds that will help Kramer. But then on the same note, she can't use her tried and true race card in this regard. Now, that is all assuming that she actually moves forward, that she actually wins. I thought Christian did a much better job than I anticipated. So let me, real quick, I see my good friend. No, I think it's good. Look, Tawanda, I think you're going to enjoy it. I do believe you're going to enjoy this. I love it. Real quick, Invisible Woman, Fani. There we go. Just your average man is in the building. Good to see you, man. They need to give Fani a drug test when she gets back from Miami stripper booze and pot fundraiser. Yeah, the videos and pictures I saw were pretty bad. But, hey, that's what she wants to be known for. Because remember, she's the top law enforcement officer in Georgia. So, that's kind of weird. Hey, good to see you, Nakia. Good to see you, Sister Grace and Peace. Make sure I didn't miss you. All right, real quick. She can't use her Marxist lingo. No, she can't. Not and be genuine. She can't do it. So that's one of the reasons why I don't believe she's in there. Hey, what's going on? We watch YouTube. Good to see you. Grace and peace. All right, let's go. Oh, please don't. Tawanda, yeah, turn this off, Tawanda. If you had a gallbladder surgery, I think you should turn this off because I am going to be cracking some jokes. I'm going to give you a heads up. All right, let's go.
Since 2021. Ms. Willis declined to participate in the debate and is represented by an empty podium. Now let's meet our panelists. Tamar Hallerman is a senior reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and Sam Greenglass is a politics reporter for WABE. For complete rules
I'm telling you right now, if you're already crying, wait till you see him turn to talk to the podium. I almost lost my whole mind when I saw it. Look at this. Rookie mistake. I did it again.
Ms. Willis declined to participate in the debate and is represented by an empty podium. Now let's meet our panelists. Tamar Hallerman is a senior reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and Sam Greenglass is a politics reporter for WABE. For complete rules on today's program, please visit the Atlanta Press Club website, atlantapressclub.org. To start the program, the candidate will be asked one question by each panelist. He will have 60 seconds to answer their questions. Sam Greenglass, you get the first question to Christian Y. Smith.
Hi, Mr. Y. Smith. Thanks for being here. The Fulton County Jail is housing hundreds more people than it was designed to hold. Last year, 10 detainees died there. Most have not been convicted and are just awaiting trial, sometimes for months or even years. The DA is not responsible for conditions at the jail, but Fulton is still trying to dig out from a massive case backlog after the pandemic that reached more than 200,000 cases in 2022. What's your plan to address that backlog?
Well, the district attorney does have something to do with the backlog, and the district attorney can do something about ending mass incarceration, right? When we see people dying in the jail, when we see the terrible conditions in the jail, when we see people sitting there for too long unindicted, that's absolutely a problem that the DA can try to fix. And one of the ways we do that is we create diversion programs for cases involving substance addiction, mental health, homelessness. Those are things that we can bring people through the system a lot faster to alleviate those problems in the jail and also address the backlog.
All right. I see a lot of people. Yeah, this is the guy from yesterday. This is him. But remember, that was back in 2020. So he's had 4 years have passed. I think his beard looks better, but also he had his camera like down and is looking up his nose almost. So I think the angle looks better and the whole nine. So I think his optics, in my opinion, are way better. But this is the problem. I don't think he answered the question correctly because there are people sitting in the Fulton County Jail right now that whether they committed a crime or they didn't, whether they were prostituting or they were high on drugs, it doesn't matter. They're in the jail now. And I do believe if he had said, look, I'm going to use federal grant money to hire attorneys to move these people through the system as quickly as possible, I do think that would have been just a little jab at Fani in a much more clearer mission than I think his ideas are solid in keeping people from getting into the system. But at the current moment, there's a lot of people in the system that you got to get them out of here. That's the problem. And I don't think he properly addressed that. That's just my little 2 cents. But let us go. Let us go. Good to see you, man. Grace and peace. Good to see you. Ski Bro Hero, good to see you as well. I think I got everybody. Good to see you. Again, if you like this type of content, I do appreciate all 61 of you, almost 65 of you all looks like are watching this. Thank y'all so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. If you like it, let me know. Hit that thumbs up. It lets me know that you enjoy this. Let's go.
All right. Tamar Hallerman, please ask your question to Mr. Y. Smith.
Thanks for doing this, Mr. Y. Smith. 4 years ago, you ran on a criminal justice reform platform that included things like not seeking the death penalty, ending cash bail, and not prosecuting many types of drug possession cases. Do you still take those positions today?
I've grown a lot in the last 4 years. The biggest way is understanding that crime is an issue that impacts all of us, so we should all have a seat at the table, right? I want to be community-based and bringing the business community on board to help provide internship opportunities and job opportunities for people so that we can break the cycle of recidivism. I want to partner with all of the public schools in Fulton County so that we can be proactive and just showing up for our kids to help dismantle the school to prison pipeline. And having community resource providers, again, to address issues of homelessness, mental health, and substance addiction. Those are all things that we can do differently than we aren't seeing being done now. And if you want to say that those are progressive and bold, I still stand on that. And I do still stand on not seeking the death penalty and other progressive measures to make sure that Fulton County ends up becoming the safest county in the country.
That concludes the first round. In the second round, the candidates asked questions of each other. Since Fani Willis declined to participate, Christian Y. Smith, you may pose a question to the empty podium. You also have 30 seconds to provide a rebuttal to how you feel your opponent would have responded.
Y'all, that thing right there had me in tears. He's literally going to ask a question to the empty podium and then answer a question that the empty podium gives him. That thing right there is comedy gold. Here it comes. Let's go.
Hey, Ms. Willis, how you doing? My question for you is, where are you? I'm here because I care about the citizens and the families of Fulton County, but it's my understanding that, you may have attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you may be fundraising across the country, but what about us here in Fulton County? What are you doing to address the issues in the jail? What are you doing to address the backlog? Where are you, Ms. Willis? That's what we want to know.
Do you have a rebuttal?
I might have to roll that back here. I'm going to put myself there so it don't look like he just talking to a pure empty podium. My goodness. All that thing is hilarious. He's like, where are you? Y'all, I got to back that up. I know. All right, y'all pray I do it right. Move a little slider back a little bit. That thing right there was funny. Let's do it again.
Say that those are progressive and bold. I still stand on that, and I do still
look at them too.
Stand on not seeking the death penalty and other progressive measures to make sure that Fulton County ends up becoming the safest county in the country.
That concludes the first round. In the second round, the candidates asked questions of each other. Since Fani Willis declined to participate, Christian Y. Smith, you may pose a question to the empty podium. You also have 30 seconds to provide a rebuttal to how you feel your opponent would have responded.
Hey, Ms. Willis, how you doing? My question for you is, where are you? I'm here because I care about the citizens and the families of Fulton County, but it's my understanding that, you may have attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you may be fundraising across the country, but what about us here in Fulton County? What are you doing to address the issues in the jail? What are you doing to address the backlog? Where are you, Ms. Willis? That's what we want to know.
Do you have a rebuttal?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I can't speak for Ms. Willis, as she's not here. And I think that her absence is all the response that we need.
All right.
I'm sorry. That dude right there, I was not even thinking of that question. I would have gone in a whole different direction. I was like, yo, that's such a good question. Where are you? Why are you not here? I think he should have went longer because he had a whole minute. I think he should have went even more. I think he should. That thing right there. Oh my gosh. Good to see you, K-Dub. K-Dub's in the building. Y'all, Chris dropping them skulls in there. Let's do that. Just drop the skulls in there. Because I'm sorry. That was murder right there. That was painful. Oh my gosh. Where are you, Fani? That thing right there. I got to find my little skull emoji. Why y'all find them before me? I should have had them ready. That's what I should have did. There we go. Now I'm ready. I got you now, people. I'll fill it up. Drop those skull emojis in the chat and let Fani know. We want to know where you at. Where you at, Fani? All right, let's keep going.
That concludes our second round. You are watching the debate for Fulton County District Attorney. Fani Willis declined to participate and is represented by an empty podium. We will now go back to the panel to ask questions to Mr. Wise Smith until we run out of time. Tamar Hallerman, you get the first question.
Mr. Wise Smith, DA Willis's office has been criticized for devoting substantial taxpayer resources to prosecuting former President Donald Trump and 14 of his allies. If you win, will you continue that case, the election interference case? And if you do, will you continue pursuing DA Willis's strategy of using the state's racketeering law to do it?
Okay, I want to back that up. And I didn't mean to say back it up. I'm going to roll that back just again so you can hear that. I think this is why I really want to hear what your opinions are. What are your thoughts on this question? So I'm going to let her spin it out again, and I'm going to let him answer. And I would love to hear what you all think about it. Yeah, I know, Chris. I didn't mean to say it. I didn't mean to say back it up. I didn't mean to. Okay, so I want y'all to hear it again because I thought the question was fantastic. Now, because she's not here, because Fani's not here, they can ask any question they want to. Now, they would have probably maybe been a little more judicious had she been here, but that's her fault. So this question would never have come up, possibly, had she been here. Just my little 2 cents. Let's go.
Tamar Hallerman, you get the first question.
I did a good job.
Mr. Wise Smith, DA Willis's office has been criticized for devoting substantial taxpayer resources to prosecuting former President Donald Trump and 14 of his allies. If you win, will you continue that case, the election interference case? And if you do, will you continue pursuing DA Willis's strategy of using the state's racketeering law to do it?
That issue is important to us here in Fulton County and a lot of people across the country. We all heard the phone call. We all saw what happened on January 6, 2021. But you have to do things differently. You know, when you pay one attorney nearly $1 million to handle one case, that leaves the rest of us vulnerable. That hurts everyone else in Fulton County. You know, I worked in that office and my salary was significantly less than what that attorney was paid. And I was responsible for handling a lot more cases than one. So we have to make sure that we see that case through in the best way possible while also addressing everything else that impacts us in Fulton County. Women don't feel safe stopping at the gas pump at night.
Thanks.
You know, I know victims of domestic violence who feel like their cases are being neglected and overlooked. So we need a DA who understands that we can pursue the big high-profile cases while not leaving everybody else in Fulton County left behind.
Sam Greenglass.
All right. What do y'all think about that? And let me know, what do y'all think about that? He called out Wade. He called out how much she paid Fani. He called out how much she paid other attorneys in her office. I don't know if you know this, but Fani Willis is about to be sued tomorrow by a Georgia representative, the young lady Misha Maynard. She used to be a Democrat and she changed parties about a year ago, maybe about 10 months ago, to become from a Democrat to become a Republican because she felt like the Republican Party the Democratic Party was not supporting school choice and building up the schools out in that area. Well, she actually had a case where she was being stalked by a very violent stalker. And Fani Willis's DA department did nothing about it and actually positioned and tried to work with the stalker to keep him out of jail. So Misha Maynard is literally about to sue her tomorrow. I don't think it's I don't think it was just happenstance that Christian Y. Smith said he knows people who are domestic violence victims. I don't think that was by happenstance. I think that was another jab at Fani. So I caught at least 5. Fani catching strays left and right and center. What do y'all think about this, though? I would love to hear. So please. All right. Y'all think Tasha K is going to see Fani and Big Nate in Miami? I don't think Nate was in Miami. I'm pretty certain Nate was not in Miami. This guy has no sense. All right. Calling out Wade. Yes, sir, Monkey Flower. It isn't an answer. Well, he does say he's going to pursue the case, but he's not going to do it at the extent of, or rather at the expense of, Fulton County. Because I think that's, in my opinion, I translated him as saying he wasn't going to pursue it. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it. I can't find the skulls. Tawanda, don't worry about it. We got you, girl. We got you. Will you continue to prosecute Trump or not? I do wish he had answered a yes or no, but I do understand what he was saying. This is what he said. This is what I translated it as. This man said that we can't afford to prosecute him, whether it be financially or sustainably with taking care of other cases as well. I'm with him. I mean, I understand his point that we don't get paid the same, et cetera. But he's comparing apples and oranges in the employees and a contract lawyer. I can see what you're saying. We watch YouTube, but I think the issue is that Nate was paid substantially more as a contract lawyer than anybody else, which was weird, being that he wasn't doing work. I think that's the issue. But all right, let's keep it going. Tasha K. Let me see. Let's see some conversation about Tasha K. Yes, I do. Q. It was a. They say it's a politician's answer. Okay, I'll accept that. Not a problem. Let's let them finish up. We got 124 people watching. That's what's up. Thank y'all so much. I wish Ashley Merchant would have run for DA. Now that would have been interesting. That would be wild. That would be wild. All right, let's keep it going. Let's roll.
The district attorney in Athens, Clark County, Deborah Gonzalez, is a former state representative with a background in academia and media and entertainment law, but no experience as a prosecutor. Since taking office, she's been plagued by accusations of mismanagement, which she's denied. Why should voters trust that you have the experience to manage the busiest DA's office in the state?
Well, first, my life experience separates me from any other DA in the country, I'd argue. I grew up seeing my mom and grandma and several family members and friends get arrested. At 15, my mom lost custody of me. At 17, I was kicked out of school and headed toward a life of crime. So my life experience far separates me and gives me some inside information on some things that we can do differently to change the system. But in addition to that, I have a master's degree in management. And obviously, in addition to my law degree, I've worked in Grady Health System 3 separate times. Grady is the largest healthcare system in the Southeast. I led a $70 million project there. And I worked as chief of staff in Atlanta City Council, so I understand what it means to collaborate and work with other governmental entities and agencies to make sure that we're doing what we can do best here to serve the citizens of Fulton County to make this the best justice system in the country.
Tamar?
I do like that they started the question off by saying, hey, we got this DA up in another county here in Georgia, and they're just having a lot of problems because they've never been a DA or a prosecutor. I do think that his life experiences in this regard do benefit him, and he did play off of that in his life experiences, whether it be coming up in his ranks as a young man, and then, of course, his roles and duties and responsibilities. I agree with that, and I think he did a good job with that. But again, I kind of agree with K-Dub right here. He could probably just answer every question by saying, because I'm the only one that showed up. I'm the only one that's not in Miami right now. I mean, that would have been wild. Let's keep it going. Let's go.
Just a follow-up question, but do you have the experience to try a high-profile felony case? And if you believe you do, can you talk about a past experience you have that would inform how you would handle such a case?
So I was a prosecutor for 7 years, 5 years on the municipal court level, nearly 2 on a felony level. And I understand collaboration, right? I understand what it means to bring in attorneys who have the experience on those kind of cases in office, where we don't need to spend nearly $1 million to hire someone outside of office to take care of that kind of case. And that ties back to my experience of leading, $70 million plus projects at Grady and working in city government to understand what it means to delegate and collaborate to accomplish a common goal.
Mr. Wise-Smith, you recently held a campaign fundraiser with the music executive Kevin Liles, whose record label represents the Atlanta rapper Young Thug. Mr. Liles and others have been very critical of DA Willis's use of rap lyrics against Young Thug and others in the YSL gang case. If you win this race as district attorney, first, will you continue the YSL case? And second, would you continue to use lyrics of any kind as evidence against people in cases?
So the trial in that case, is ongoing. So I don't want to speculate or say anything that could taint that jury or, be unfair to either side in that case. But I will say, with the background that I have, hip hop was a very important part of my life. I know in this country that there have been hundreds of prosecutions of black men, hip hop artists using their lyrics. One in particular, a rapper from No Limit Records in the 90s was sentenced to 30 years with no physical evidence. There was no gun, no DNA, no blood. They only used the lyrics to one of his songs. And so things like that, that's dangerous. If lyrics lead to physical evidence is fair game. But lyrics alone, I think that is dangerous. We don't see that being done in the movie industry or film industry. It's only or any other genre of music. It's only being done to black men in hip hop, and I think that's dangerous.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lamar, did you have a follow-up?
What did y'all think about that? What do y'all think about the using rap lyrics or song lyrics? What do y'all think about that? I don't know. I'm a little bit conflicted. I do agree that we don't do it for any other form of art. So I do understand his point there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted. I'm not really invested in it. I'm just kind of like, I don't know I don't know what's good or bad in that regard. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think? X-rated also. Lyrics are covered by the First Amendment. Okay, I can dig it. No argument for me. No argument. First Amendment. Okay. I can understand that. I would like to hear a debate about using lyrics. Yeah, we have to find that. Because I know there was a big brouhaha about that when she first rolled up to use them, in this case particular. And I know there have been others before, but it just seemed like in modern day, this would seem to be like the first time people had heard that idea. But if we find something, we'll look at it for sure. Really, all kinfolk ain't kinfolk. I wouldn't waste a vote. Really? Okay. Thank you, Mama Joe's. What's going on? Susie in the building. Good to see you. All right, let's see. Unless it is specific, like I was here. Unless it was specific, like I was here and I did that, and you can find it here, then no. Okay, I got you. I'm assuming the lyrics. I got you for sure. I think rap songs are free speech and not causative of any crime. Kind of like how I did forget about video games. You're right. Video games and cartoons are blamed for violence and never dropped any anvil on somebody. I got you. Okay, yeah. You can use lyrics for leads. Your average, just an average man says, but they must lead to actual evidence, kind of like what Christian Wise-Smith says. It isn't a confession unless it's done during an interview by law enforcement. I agree. Now, if I'm not mistaken, just your average man is an actual former police officer, so I think he definitely has an understanding on this matter. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. What happened to the white lady attorney that was running for DA's office? Thank you so much, Ski Bro. This was only the Democratic, I guess, if I'm understanding correctly. This is only the Democratic debate. I don't know why. I thought it was going to be all three of them, but it's not. I don't know why. If you go back and look at like the Paul Howard one, Paul Howard, of course, is a Democrat. Fani's a Democrat, and Christian was a Democrat. They didn't have any Republicans. So I don't know that one. I'm going to look a little bit more into that. Yes, I don't know. But you never even hear her mentioned in any of the articles. So I'm assuming either A, they're, I don't know. I have no idea. Got interrupted by children. Check it on. You'll be right back soon. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's it, Ski Bro. I don't know emphatically, but I don't think that there's a, now, once this primary, and I think somebody just, yes, because we're in the primary season, that's what it is. So once this is over with, and you know what? During the Paul Howard one, there was only Fani and Christian were the only ones running for the position. There wasn't a Republican running. That's exactly why. So because this is a primary, and the primary is coming up at the end of May, once Christian wins, he will run against Kramer, the young lady Kramer. That's what it is. Thank you, Q. All right. Yes, it was only a Democrat debate. The white lady is alone on the Republican side. That is the primary, is on May 21st. What's going on, Ed Todd? What's up with you, my brother? E. Todd, good to see you. All right, let's finish this up.
No.
Okay, Sam.
In general, DA Willis is known for her fondness of Georgia's racketeering law, or RICO, for these larger cases, sometimes involving upwards of dozens of defendants, sometimes sweeping in lower-level people, such as the APS cheating scandal, YSL, the election interference cases. Do you think RICO is overused, as we often hear from some defense attorneys?
Absolutely. The Atlanta teacher case is a perfect example of that. The RICO Act was designed in mind with organized crime and mobsters and gangsters back in the 70s. And so to be overbroad and use something like that and trying to sweep across a lot of teachers, I thought that was an overreach and misuse of the DA's office. So, once I take office, we'll make sure we're using that in the appropriate way and not using it for everything.
Tamar.
I want to say, I think that was a good look. He did not address, if you're not familiar with the Atlanta cheating scandal, it was wild. And I was, thankfully I was not in Atlanta public schools at that time, but everybody thought that was a little bit much. That was a lot. That was much. And so I think he pointed that out, and he did not address the young thug and did not address the election interference cases, because those are still ongoing. And I think people are still kind of up in the air about their feelings about it. But most people feel like those teachers were not mobsters. They were just trying, because at that time, teachers were paid for the performance growth of their classes. So you're putting a lot of weight on men and women to make decisions that are probably going to end up being bad decisions. Now, it's their responsibility to make the good decision, and they're responsible for the crimes that they committed. But they weren't mobsters, okay? Let's just tell the truth. I know people who are no longer teachers and who got swept up in that. They weren't mobsters. They just were making bad decisions. Now, those bad decisions should have been penalized, and they should have got a non-renewal. Absolutely. They shouldn't be RICO'd. That was a little bit much. So I agree with him. And I think the way he handled it was appropriate. But let me see what you got. Tim says, of course, yes, RICO is overused. I hope the Georgia narrows it. I do hope that they narrow down the RICO law. I agree with you 100% there. Just an average man. Susie's shouting you out. Good answer for sure. Most agree that the RICO part, dear world Christian, is Fani on Georgia payroll as acting DA. I like this candidate. I wish him a good run. Yeah, Fani is the current DA. And if she was not in Miami getting turned up this weekend, she would have been here, or she should have been here, having this debate with this young man and him not talking to an empty podium. But I digress. It doesn't matter the color. They need to be qualified to get the job and knowledgeable to keep it. And that's Mama Jones. No argument for me whatsoever. I agree with you 100%. Happened cost $1 million. She says that the legislature would need to take this up after all these RICO cases and scandals. You would hope they would. And I think that means just narrowing it down so it can't be used so blatantly as we're using it now. You don't yell fire in the theater. No, you don't, Mick. I agree with that. Hopefully I didn't miss something. DAs like Fani abused RICO because there is a lower burden of proof to get a guilty verdict and have an extreme punishment, which they leverage for guilty pleas. That's true. Ashley Merchant talked about that with why with all these people that were swept up in the Trump case, why so many of them did actually just plead out, even though they probably were innocent. They just don't want to sit here and fight for this all year long, multiple days and months and even years long. They don't want to do that. They just don't have the money to do that. Because also it is a war of attrition. Like it'll bankrupt you. I can imagine you could be bankrupt by this. So I kind of like how he approached that. I thought it was smart. Let me see what else I got. All right. All right, I see. RICO was made for going after mob bosses that were shielded by their soldiers. There you go. Yeah, I mean, and then if you do any research into the Atlanta cheating scandal, you would be scratching your head too. Like, really? Sure, they're wrong. They were wrong for what they did, but it was a little bit overreach for sure. No question about it whatsoever. Hey, I got 43 people have liked the video. Can I get to 50? Because I currently have 179 watching. That's kind of dope. Appreciate y'all. Let's see if we can get this finished. Let's go.
Mr. Wise-Smith, we haven't seen a ton of polling in this race so far, but the one poll that we did see released, I believe Fox 5 reported it, had you at about 9% support of those polled. Do you think you have a path to victory at this point? And what is the coalition that you think could deliver you there?
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that poll didn't seek out first-time voters or young voters or people who want to see fresh energy and new ideas in the DA's office. I'm sure that poll only focused on a specific demographic of people. And I understand a little bit of the game and how polls work. But I'm confident that we will excite a lot of first-time voters and young voters, people from the cannabis community who agree that we should legalize, and a lot of folks who just want to see change. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And I'm campaigning on something that hasn't been done in the South before, and I think we will excite a lot of people who will come out and vote to see those changes.
Tamar, follow-up?
Yeah, if you do not win this primary race, will you endorse Miss Willis, or are there concessions that you would like to see from her?
Well, right now, I'm not focused on losing. I'm focused on gaining your vote. I'm asking everybody watching this to vote Christian Wise-Smith for Fulton County District Attorney on May 21st. Early voting starts April 29th. Wise up.
Tomorrow.
Thank you. That is all the time we have for questions. Christian Wise-Smith will now have 60 seconds for a closing statement.
Okay, before he goes into his closing statement, what do y'all think about his, is he going to be able to excite the base? Is he going to be able to excite people to come to vote for him? What do y'all think? All right, let's see. I think Atlanta will vote him in. It will only get worse. Whoa, I'm sorry. Let me read that again. I think if Atlanta votes him in, it'll only get worse. Really? Worse? Wow. Okay. So he's going to run on legalizing weed. Okay. We'll have my popcorn ready. I got you. You thought it was a great answer. Todd said Atlanta isn't legal yet. Nope. Not like these people. Like, we got the cannabis stores and not cannabis, the vape stores and stuff like that. But basically they're talking about like legalizing like the amount that you are caught with. So if you get caught with an ounce or whatever the amount is that they choose. So no, they're not legal like that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I mean, that's a whole nother thing because Fulton County he can't just decide not to do what the job is. So I don't think that's going to be the case. All right, let's see what we got. At least Fani wants to lock people up. Okay. If he runs on legalizing weed, then yeah, he could get attention. He reminds me of Mayor Johnson in Chicago. Okay. Is medical? Yes, medical is legal here. That is correct. Oklahoma is fully legal. Wow. That's wild. Well, we're medically legal, not recreational. So they're talking about recreational. I disagree with the legalization of marijuana, but yeah. We watch YouTube. Well, if he did it for medical only, would kick people out of only weed crimes in jail, which would make more room for harder criminals. Okay, I can understand that. Okay, so it's only medical in Oklahoma, Tim Moore says. Okay. Chicago went from worse to worser. I don't even know if that's a real word, but there we are. Okay, no, I'm right there with you. Yeah, and this is the thing that Susie's talking about right here. It seems like it would need to be a state change, not just a county change, but I don't know. No, it would need to be a state change. I don't see Georgia anytime in the near future. I don't see it in the next 2, 3, even 4 years changing over. It's just that's not, we don't have the appetite for it here in Georgia. No such thing as worser. All right. And Susie E. Todd agrees with you. Here, let's get done with this, Jason. Let's go.
County, I'm running to make us the safest justice system in the United States of America. I want the president to call us and look at us as the model on how you do local criminal justice. We do this by focusing on victim-centered prosecution, ending mass incarceration, and dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline. And I've seen each of these 3 things firsthand, so I know they work. I diverted a 17-year-old high school senior for possession who went on to graduate from college and play in the NFL. My mother suffers from a mental disability, and I've seen her constantly go through the system where if she would have been partnered with some folks, it could have changed her life and changed my life. And dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline is exactly why I'm here. It was a police officer named Bill Dean who stepped in for me and spoke positivity in my life and showed up for me. And that's what I want to do for not only my kids, but your kids. And that's how we make Fulton County the safest and best justice system in the country. So again, vote Christian Wise Smith for Fulton DA on May 21st. Thank you.
That concludes our program. We'd like to remind voters that early voting begins April 29th and Election Day is Tuesday, May 21st. Our thanks to Christian Wise Smith and to our panel of journalists. We'd like to thank the Atlanta Press Club and Georgia Public Broadcasting for arranging today's program. For more information about the Atlanta Press Club debates, visit atlantapressclub.org. I'm Donna Lowry. Thanks for joining us for the Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young Debate Series.
All right, and maybe I might be just like super positive about it because I know that I feel like Fani Willis is looking at these big issues and not at the smaller issues. Today, with no more further ado, what's going on? Milk 35, good to see you, brother. Thank you so much. Now y'all talking about what y'all ate for dinner. Y'all out of control, man. This live chat is out of control. I'm saying right now, though, I would put this live chat up against any Baptist potluck on the planet. Because y'all, if we could get together and do a meetup and y'all a meetup potluck, I bet you y'all will beat any Baptist potluck. But Susie has a good question here. And I think this is why don't we encourage fathers to stay in their homes and raise their children? That's the missing link that would keep that would help dismantle the school to jail pipeline and all these kind of things that you talk about is get dads back into their homes. That would be key. And try to encourage dads to stay in home with their pair bond, with their wives and raise kids. That is the missing link that many people don't mention.